I had opportunities. I went on my way and I did commercials in New York. I was with the Treasure Island, ABC, NBC, all, they picked it up on me, went global. And I did things for Calvin Klein. I did his fall corduroy line in Calvin Klein and Macy's live, and I had opportunities in the entertainment world. I did do it in college. I did do experimental theater. I was William Jennings Bryant. I played, in the Scopes trial, the Great Monkey Trial. I did some serious roles. Then I did the thing with John Travolta with Saturday Night Fever, and I was the bartender. And so they wanted me to dye my hair to be John Travolta, and I had blonde hair. And I said, listen, I'm not gonna dye my hair. I'm not gonna do it because I want to be natural the way I am. I'm gonna be changing colors and everything. So they said, okay, well, would you play the bartender? We'll keep your hair the way you are. Well, I was quite a bartender, and I don't drink and everything, but I'd rather do like protein shakes and stuff for people. But that was my role in the experimental theater, where I also was with Superman, believe it or not, Lois Lane, the real Lois Lane that played in Superman. They kept punching me, during the scenes, and I said, if you punch me one more time, that's it. You don't get that take on it. What you're doing, I'm not doing this anymore. They're bruising me on my left arm. I was a pitcher on the right arm. I said, that's not going to balance me. This is hurting. These people that stuntman and stuff they would do, but I was doing it, and she wanted to do the scene with me, the Lois Lane, and they'll tell you, Margaret Kidder, they'll tell you the name of the person, that who she is. I was around that arena. I would, be around people that were very successful in the entertainment field around me, that were eyeing me to get into the field. Just so you know, and I had an opportunity with ABC to have a television show. I had an in with ABC to be looked at to have a show like Regis and Kathy Lee Gifford with my sister. So I don't know if that helps at all, but these are some of my experiences and everything in the entertainment world where I got called in. I had a calling, and then I danced with Ginger Rogers, and I think it's a very important thing with Joseph Papp in New York at Radio City Music Hall. It was like a fest, like at a huge thing that you would be at Central Park. It was like that. And I was chosen to dance I Love New York with Frank Sinatra. Um, and so doors would open up called I Love New York, like the Rockettes. We'd have to do the kicks and all. But I was with Ginger Rogers, the film star. She was like um, enamored. And Joseph Papp, my manager, Trudy, said he kept eyeing you up and down. He was like, he had something in mind for you because he just wouldn't keep his eyes off you because of the presence. And I was authentic and just being who I was. But it's nice to know people, but it's true. You have to love yourself and move forward and get the opportunities and the auditions. I feel that I met all these people for healing purposes, not just for me to be in the profession. I felt there's something that I was always to give back to them with the healing. I was with from the Adams family. His name is John Aston. It's Patty Duke's ex-husband recognized me in California and gave me his card and said he was with this. He saw the spiritual work with the healing with me, and he said, "And if you want to know anything at all, here's my card." They handed the card to me and said, if you'd like, you could contact me. This is where you can reach me. I mean, people would give me their, and all these hosts that I would meet with Regis and Kathy Lee Gifford. Regis said I looked too good because I stood out because of the presence. They said the king of spontaneity. Well, I with Regis, when I walked in, the whole audience wanted to know who I was with this future plant and what I was going on with the directors. They told me I looked too good. And they said that Regis and Kathy Lee that made 15, 20 million between them, between $20 million between the two, whatever the amount was, they they slumped down in their chairs because they saw how people responded to me that was authentic. The husbands, the wives, the children were coming out to be around me before the show. And then uh I was backstage, believe it or not, with a big newscaster. He was from Texas and everything, and his wife. And he says, "This is Maui Island, Valentine." He did all the thing in Washington. I'll have to get his name for you, and you can add to it, whatever. Sam Donaldson from ABC, and Sam's feeling my presence in the back, and his wife, his second wife, is going, you don't need to be in this field. You're from Maui. You're going to be known all around the world with healing around the world. You don't need to. This is Maui. This is not Maui. This is this is New York, the island, not Maui Island. You got to get back there. And I had an opportunity to be on Regis and Kathy Lee, and I was on Sally Jesse Raphael worldwide. Just so you know, I. I spoke up globally regards to Kitty Kelly wrote the book on George Bush and all the negativity, and then they wrote the book on Nancy Reagan, and that's where Sally. It was live. You can look her up, Sally Jesse Raphael. She was red glasses. She was before Oprah, and she was from France, coming in from New York. She had a home in France. She's in New York now, where she retired. But at the time, she came after me. I was all dressed in white, like the white angel, white knight, like the white knight. And they interviewed me. She says, what did you think of what Kitty Kelly? Now, Kitty Kelly is an international author, the number one in the world, that made millions of dollars on this book with Nancy Reagan. I mean, with George Bush. And they said, you made millions of dollars on that book, but this book with Nancy Reagan, everything came out of her mouth was so negative. And she goes, well, what did you think of what she ran over from? I'm just on the corner going, ready to go in the back to meet everyone, like later on. So I just sat in the corner. Well, she was eyeing everybody and opened the show with me. And the film people, the cameraman said, do you see the energy? You see his eyes? Zoom in on that. And not a pin drop when I spoke. I said, look, what you just stated about Nancy Reagan is everything is negative, what you talked about. I said, I want to talk about the positive things that Nancy Reagan did. And I know with treatment centers, let's talk about that. And that's when after I spoke, not a pin dropped. The cameraman picked up on the energy it was flying through. I mean, right up to my eyeballs. I mean, and then everyone recognized me and said to me, what Sally said, what this man just said, Valentine, worldwide, she said, regards to, you're going to make millions of dollars on this book like George Bush with Nancy Reagan. And he's correct what he said. I agree with him, what he just said. Thomas Valentine Alec said on air. And the studio audience stands by him, and you're not going to make millions of dollars after people see, you're not going to make, and the book never sold after I spoke and Sally spoke, and the audience agreed with me. Months later it came out. I had no idea. When I came out of the show, everybody surrounded me because of what I said. I brought the truth serum in to say, let's talk about something positive and what Nancy Reagan did, as an example. So it still led me into the healing world. And this is what Sam Donaldson's wife was seeing. She was a reader, I could tell. And she read me and said that you don't need to be on these shows and everything. You can't be showing yourself right now because you need to go back to Hawaii, and you'll be shown all around the world from Hawaii.